I've not tested positive for the virus, but Kylie has. The reason that I haven't tested positive is because there are no tests in my area. I was going to get tested because Kylie tested positive. Naturally, I should go get tested too, right, for data purposes. They're charging $300 to test people right now because they're out of tests in New York City practically. It is nearly impossible to find any tests around, so I'm assuming that I have the virus. I'm acting as though I have the virus. Kylie has been pretty sick. She has an intensely sore throat and a cough and a runny nose and headaches, but she's making it through. So there's that. I've had a headache too, but it's been on and off, and headaches are incredibly rare for me. It's extremely uncommon that I get a headache. So that was my indication that I caught it from her. And I've had some ups and downs, been run down and fatigued and stuff, usually at night when that happens and in the mornings. But otherwise, I feel fine. I'm on here. I feel great, in fact. I don't feel sick at all. So, I don't know. Maybe the vaccine helped. I mean, all three of us were vaccinated. Kylie did have a fever for a short time, but the fever seems to be gone at the moment. Rose, my wife, she has a fever at this moment, and she's felt pretty down lately. But yeah, I think I'm having this the easiest out of anybody, so that's lucky, I guess. Just in case, though, I got like a month's worth of content written up and produced and released and ready to go in case I have to be on a ventilator for a month or something. And I wrote a will just in case. You never know. You never know. So anyways, I think things are going to be just fine. But yeah, that's the situation if anybody was wondering. Alexa's sick. Damn, how are Kylie and Rose? Kylie has a sniffly nose, a runny nose, a cough, a wicked sore throat. And she was having bad headaches the other day, too. Intolerably bad headaches. But she seems okay. She's making it. She doesn't need to be hospitalized. It's just a really rough illness right now. Timeline-wise, she started showing symptoms on Monday. And that means she must have caught it at least 2 days before, right? Saturday. We never went indoors anywhere. We never went inside. But on Saturday or maybe Friday, we did go to a park. That's the only place we went. It was to a park. We wore masks the whole time and all that other stuff. So I'm really not sure where we would have caught it from. It's hard to know. But anyway, she showed symptoms on Monday. That means she was contagious. You can be contagious, I believe, up to 2 days before you show symptoms. But certainly by the time you're showing them, you are contagious, right? That was on Monday for Kylie. So she's been spreading it to me since Monday. Incubation can take 2 to 14 days, I think, before I would start showing symptoms. So it's been 6 days, basically. It's been 6 days since she was showing symptoms. I would have been exposed to it. So I'm 6 days into incubation, I guess. I'm hoping that's a good sign that I'm not going to have a bad time of it. Just hope for the best. As far as Rose goes, she has a fever. She's got a cough. She's been run down and fatigued and tired a lot. All that stuff. She's having a rough go of it too. So yeah, they're both having a rough go. I seem to be okay at the moment. Riley Mason's, I have COVID. It gave me laryngitis and sniffles. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Scary stuff, man. Really scary stuff. But I think we'll make it out okay. Just hope for the best. Hey, this is Owen. If you're comfortable, leave your first name and state at the sound of the tiny truck backing up.
Hey, Owen, this is Hannah. That ding has changed. It doesn't sound like a truck backing up anymore.
It sounds like a truck backing up for the normal audience, but not for the people calling in. But the joke stands. I like the joke anyway, so I'll keep it.
Shame on you for saying it sounds like a truck. Anyway, I was just curious. I finished watching your Caleb and Sophia video, and how does someone who's a Jehovah's Witness get a position in the animation studio or, acting for the other propaganda videos they make? And also, is it required? Thanks. Bye.
I assume when you ask, is it required, you mean, is it required to be a Jehovah's Witness? And the answer is yes. You have to be a Jehovah's Witness to do this. Basically, they have this headquarters they call Bethel. I'm trying to think of how to describe this. Going to Bethel is like the greatest honor that one could have bestowed upon them. You're chosen to go to Bethel from the congregations, and you apply to get in and stuff. It's like going to a military academy almost, or like a college or something. You actually leave your town and you move into the headquarters. They have like rooms, they're dorms. They have dorms with beds and everything, and you live in the dorms. It's basically their cult compound, and that's where they have their writing department, where they have writers create the magazines that they pass out to people. They have their translation department where they do like Bible translation stuff. They have everything there. Their animation section and everything. Voice acting, the whole 9 yards. So basically, the people who do Caleb and Sophia were chosen to go to Bethel. They probably applied and were picked to go there, and they live there on the compound. And they most likely knew some animation stuff beforehand. They were given this job because of the skill set that they already had. They went in there and created a whole cartoon for children. They had voice actors go in and act and everything else. And over the years, you can see their animation skills improve. You can look at older episodes and watch them get better and better over time. The scripting, the voice acting, the animation, all of it. It's all done in-house by Jehovah's Witnesses, and that makes it that much more impressive, in my opinion. It's like Pixar-level animation in some cases, and it's so sad to know that these people's skills are being wasted on propaganda. Really, really sad.
Hey, Owen. This is Thomas from Virginia. Huge fan of the show. So lately, I've been watching a lot of your videos on Jehovah's Witnesses, as well as Lloyd Evans's channel, and I've come across some JW terms that I find kind of confusing. So I was wondering if you could just explain what a pioneer is.
Let me pause there because there are a few questions. So a pioneer effectively signs a contract to get a certain number of hours door knocking per month. It's changed over the years. I don't know what it is now. I think it used to be 60 hours when I was younger, back in like 2009 or somewhere in there. They would agree to get 60 hours per month of door knocking. They can also get those hours by writing letters and mailing them to people, or going on Twitter and sending messages to people about Jehovah, whatever, as long as you're spreading the good news, quote unquote, as they call it. So a pioneer would be 60 hours, I think. A special pioneer, I believe, is 70 hours. Don't quote me on that. Somebody in the comments can correct me. Like I said, that changed at various points in time, so it may be completely different now. So Pioneer is 60, Special Pioneer I think used to be 70, and an Auxiliary Pioneer at least used to be 50 hours. The difference between Pioneer and Special Pioneer is one of them just gets more hours, and Pioneers and Special Pioneers both agree to do it for a period of 12 consecutive months. The difference between Pioneer and Auxiliary Pioneer is an Auxiliary Pioneer agrees to do it for 1 month. So if you're auxiliary, you're just starting out in this, you get 50 hours for 1 month. If you're a pioneer, you've been doing this for a long time, you agree to get 60 hours for 12 months consecutively. That's basically what they are. Let's listen to the next section here, next set of questions.
Explain what a pioneer is, what auxiliary pioneering is.
That's where they sign up for 1 month for 50 hours, last I checked.
And what Bethelites are?
Bethelites, I talked about this in the last voicemail. It's basically just people who agree to go to their cult compound for a period of time. You know, you go there and basically enlist, for lack of a better term, and they put you to work. Whether you're in the writing department or the animation department or the voice acting department or anything. I mean, they have janitors there too. They have room cleaners, they have people who do the laundry and do the dishes, and they have cooks and the whole 9 yards. It's an entire living facility, enclosed from the outside world and independent. They never have to leave the building if they don't want. They get food deliveries and all of the other stuff, and they just live and work in this building, this headquarters, basically, 24/7. That's what a Bethelite is.
That would kind of be a huge help, because I hear about these terms all the time, and I don't exactly know what they're referring to. Thanks. Love the show. Bye.
Yeah, there are a lot of loaded words, a lot of loaded language and cliches and stuff like that within the Jehovah's Witness organization. Within a lot of cults, there's a lot of this type of language that's very specific to the organization that you don't really fully understand unless you're on the inside and have worked with these people and used it in your everyday language. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Hopefully I explained well enough.
Hello, Owen. My name is Cy. I usually agree with you on everything. I am a rabid atheist also, and I loathe Joel Osteen, but I think the guy should have been fired. Joel Osteen went into a restaurant, gave them money as a patron, and an employee of the restaurant on a clock yet calls him an asshole or calls him a piece of shit. He should have been fired. It's one thing if somebody on the street insults Joel, and then he would find out where the guy is and had him fired. That would be awful. But if I went into a restaurant and was called a jerk by somebody there, I would have them fired also. So I just disagree with whoever is on your side here. Still love your show. Bye-bye.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think I agree with you on that. I wasn't really a huge fan of the way all of that played out. I wasn't a fan of the fact that he went up there and said that to Joel Osteen, and the way that it all happened and all of that other stuff. I think I agree with you on that point. If I went up to one of the patrons and said some shit like that, I wouldn't expect to continue getting paid from them. So I think I agree with you on that point. If you guys are unclear about what he's talking about, let me just refresh your memory. He's referring to this video clip. It went viral not too long ago. Basically, Joel Osteen went to a restaurant, came across this guy in the parking lot as he was leaving. This guy was one of the employees at the restaurant, and he comes out and he asks for a picture with Joel Osteen, because Joel Osteen had been taking pictures with other people at the restaurant before, so he decided he would give this guy a picture too, and watch what happens next.
With Joel Osteen, hey man, you know you're a piece of shit, right? You know, right? Right? Come on, yeah, you know. You know, right? Yeah. Yeah, you know. Take care, folks. He knows.
Okay, so that happened, and shortly after that, the same guy that took that picture, he gets on his TikTok account and he posts a new video. Check this one out.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for all the support on the video. I did not expect it to blow up this much, and with all that attention, I got fired this morning. So if anyone wants to buy me that beer, now would be a great time.
So the argument from the voicemail caller is that he probably should have been fired for that because, you know, he went up to a patron of the restaurant and basically called him a piece of shit. Anybody calling anybody a piece of shit like that while on the clock, which that guy was, maybe deserves to get fired for that. I mean, that's not really something you do. Go up to a patron of your restaurant and call them a piece of shit. Not really a good move. So, yeah, you know, I think I agree with you on that. I have no qualms with your position on that.
Hey, Owen, what's up? Listen, you probably know that Matt Dillahunty of the Atheist Experience just had open heart surgery. He was only in the hospital 3 days, and now he come home with a speedy recovery, which I'm glad to see. But I can't wait to watch the Atheist Experience and hear some caller call in and say it was something like it was God that saved him or shit like that.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen? That's going to get Matt Dillahunty's heart beating. He's going to get his blood pumping over that, get pissed off. I hope he keeps it under control for real, for his own health. Well, last I heard, he was having stents put in. When I was maybe 13 or 14, somewhere in there. Maybe I was 15. I don't remember how old I was. Anyways, my dad actually needed heart surgery desperately, and he refused to take a blood transfusion. He said that he wouldn't have the surgery if it meant taking a blood transfusion. And no doctors would operate on him as a result. No doctors would operate on him for that. We had kind of accepted that my dad was going to die as a result when I was in my early teens. It was either right before or right after I got baptized. So I think I may have been 15. I think I was about 15 or just before I turned 15. Anyways, I remember sitting there reading the Organized to Do God's Will book in the hospital room, accepting the fact that my dad was going to die. I knew it was going to happen because he was standing up for Jehovah or whatever. And then a doctor appeared and said he was willing to do an operation. He's willing to put stents in for my dad instead of doing full open heart surgery. And we viewed that as like a sign from Jehovah that he wanted my dad to live and he was helping us out and he was answering our prayers, blah, blah, blah. Looking back on that, it's sad in so many different ways. But yeah, the guy put stents in my dad, and eventually my dad had to get full-blown open heart quadruple bypass surgery. But I guess that kind of strengthened my faith at the time. But when I heard that Matt was getting stents put in, I knew how serious it was because my dad had to deal with that when I was a kid, and I remember believing that he was going to die at the time. I am glad that he came out okay. I don't want anybody to die. I feel like human life is precious in all forms, the most important and valuable thing in the universe. So I'm glad he came out of that okay. And hopefully he keeps his anger under control. I know he's got a short fuse on the atheist experience sometimes. Gotta keep the ticker healthy, if you will.
Yeah, this is Derek in Kansas. I was wondering, what books would you recommend for debunking the Bible, pointing out mistranslations and just other kind of errors like that? Anyway, appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate the phone call. Interesting question. I have a couple of suggestions for you. There's the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, for one thing. If that doesn't grab your fancy, if you will, I'm looking for a specific website real quick. Hold on. This used to be on bibviz.com. Now, I guess that's shut down, and the source code for it was resurrected and put on lyingforjesus.org/Bible contradictions. Absolutely incredible piece of software. I don't know who wrote it. I have no idea, but it's absolutely amazing. You can choose the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, infidels.org, or Evil Bible, apparently. And you can just go through every one of these lines. You can see me hovering over each one. You just click one, click any of them. It'll bring you to the contradiction, does God lie? And each verse that contradicts it. So we've got, no, God cannot and does not lie. That one's cited at Numbers 23:19, 1 Samuel 15:29, 2 Samuel 7:28, a bunch of others. And then, yes, God lies by proxy. He sends prophets or lying spirits to deceive. That can be found at 1 Kings 22:23, 2 Chronicles 18:22, Jeremiah 4:10. This tool is so incredibly useful. My God, I'm so glad that it survived after BibViz got shut down. Anyways, yeah, just go to this website and check it out. lyingforjesus.org/Bible-contradictions. Absolutely incredible. It's actually lyingforjesus.org/Bible with a capital B -contradictions with a capital C. If you don't capitalize Bible and contradictions, then it'll take you to the wrong place. Just check the description for a link to it. You can look at a whole list of them. It's interactive, is what makes it even better. I love this fucking thing. Anyway, hopefully that answered your question. Just go there and check it out and play around with it. It's a really cool piece of software, in my opinion. The next voicemail wasn't really a voicemail. It was an email I got from somebody. Guy by the name of Flowerland of John. He had a YouTube channel. He sent me this video he wanted me to take a look at. This is Phil Robertson, 2014. I don't know if you guys remember Duck Dynasty, but this Phil Robertson guy was one of the people on Duck Dynasty, one of the top people. To give you a general summary of what happened, Phil Robertson's family invented a new duck whistle, apparently, and the duck whistle got really, really popular, and now they're millionaires, pretty much. And some TV network decided to do, like, a TV show for them. It ran for a bunch of seasons. In this video, he's talking about Muslims in the Middle East, the people that we were fighting a war against, basically. Check it out.
In this case, you either have to convert them, which I think is would be next to impossible. I'm not giving up on them, but I'm just saying either convert them or kill them. One or the other.
Wow, that's some shit, huh? This dude believes that in the Middle East, we either have to convert these people from Islam to Christianity or get rid of them. Holy shit. And Sean Hannity is on here putting him on stage to say this shit. This clip was presumably curated from a set of clips from this interview. Sean Hannity seemed to believe that this clip here was worthy of going out to a televised audience. Now check it out, 2015. This is a year later. See what he had to say.
All I can say is love God and love your neighbor. Islam will say, submit to Muhammad or we will kill you. That's the difference in the two right there. Convert or die.
Isn't that interesting? We all know that hypocrisy runs deep in people like this. Deep. And the reason that it runs so deep is because it isn't about principle. It's not about principle. It's not about what's moral, what matters. It's not about the right thing. It's about hurting your enemies and nothing more. That is the number one sign that you are using a cult-like mindset, that you're in a cult of some sort. An us versus them, good versus evil attitude. Destroy your enemy at any cost. If they aren't going to be like you, then they don't deserve to live. That is what this is all about. That's what this guy is all about. It's absolutely disgusting.